everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Father's Note, where we promote fatherhood through building men. As always, as I like to say, we're so happy that you took the time out of your busy schedule to spend the evening with us. And we're going to pick up where we left off on last week with our guest, Deidre Grace, where we talked about her video, her TikTok video, um, Dear Fat Girl. But before we go into that, listen, I just want to encourage you all. I was blessed to write this book, Learning the Man Within. It's a story about my life and the lessons that I learned growing up as a man from adolescent to where I'm at today. And I can tell you, it's not so much an autobiography, even if it is, but my whole approach was to show other men likewise that no matter what you're going through, that I want to give some insights, some things that can be very helpful, that were helpful to me, that can be helpful to you. So I want to encourage you. How about get you a book? You can go to afathersnote.com and purchase the book there. Even if you're have a big lady audience, right? And listen, I'm sure this can be helpful to a loved one, whether or not it's your husband, whether or not it's a brother or uncle or a cousin, whomever. How about get this book for them, okay, and bless them with that. So, hey, certainly appreciate it. And also, if you're watching by YouTube, we do both. We broadcast on both Facebook and YouTube. But if you're watching by YouTube, would you so kindly, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as comment and like the channel. Help us push out what we're doing here, which certainly will be appreciated. So before we go into, I get an interview. Those of you may have seen the TikTok video from last week and of Deidre Grace that she shared on TikTok, Dear Fat Girl. But if you didn't see it, we're just going to play a portion of it for you. And we want you to check this out. Okay. Dear Fat Girl.
My name is Deidre Grace, and I wrote a piece. The name of this piece is Dear Fat Girl. Dear Fat Girl, big black girl, long hair, short hair, that girl. Stomach tucked in your pants, girl. Fat girl, big bodied, everybody sees that body. Aren't you ashamed? How do you feel walking with your friends, wide bodied compared to their small friends? At least you're pretty. I mean, you got that going. Because don't no man want no obese woman whose stomach won't stop growing. Dear fat girl, you can't be picky with your choices in men. Be glad somebody's likes you. I mean, you good for a touch, a rub, a suck. But ain't nobody trying to wife you. Can't no man be proud walking through no crowd, holding on to them plump fingers. And it's common knowledge that all y'all big girls smell. And that scent lingers. Dear fat girl, if you cared about yourself, you would hit a gym. If you lost the weight, you would be just as beautiful as them. Dear fat girl, you love to talk about how the world acts towards you because you're fat. Talking about how cruel and heartless people are. We sick of hearing that. Just lose the weight, okay? I mean, put your mind to it. You can do it. You look so much better if you did. I know you tried before, but try harder. I mean, you lost a little bit of weight, but you could be smaller. You could be smaller. Try harder. You could be smaller. Try harder. You could be. Dear fat girl, who's trying? I see you crying because I feel the same way that you do. The way you hide yourself inside yourself when you walk into a room. The way you think that all that you are can be measured in pounds. And the type of confidence you have. when nobody's around. I see how hard you work to lose the weight that you carry, the weight that bothers everybody else, or how you sit in silence while people reprimand you for your size, then tell you, we just worried about your health. Dear fat girl, I see you picking yourself up. I see you working hard for your healing. I see you replaying the moments that broke you and then countering those feelings. Dear fat girl, if I could leave you with any advice, I would tell you, keep God first. I tell you, lift your head up and remember your worth. I tell you, it's not your fault that people are mean, and that confidence is key when you step on any scene. I tell you, don't be afraid to take up space. And all of you is beautiful, not just your face. If you choose to lose weight, just know that it's possible, but take your time. And don't do it for anybody else, not people. Do it for yourself, because you're already fine. And when it comes to love, understand that you too deserve one that is true. And the man that is meant to be in your life is gonna love you just for you. Now remember, dear fat girl, that pressure bursts pipes. So the next time they talk about you, laugh at you, pick at you, whisper when you walk into a room, sit on them. Now go put on some tights.
Wow. I cannot watch that enough. Every time I watch it, there is more that I see that allows me to really have a great understanding of what women like my guest experience. And listen, I don't want, we're going to talk some more about it. So without any further ado, I wanted to welcome again to the platform my guest, none other than my niece, Deidre Grace. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm back.
Yes, yes, yes. Let me
Good
tell
evening.
you were outstanding last week.
Thank you.
And as I stated, there was so much that I learned. And gave me a great understanding of women like yourself, what you all encounter. So we weren't able because it got real heavy. So let's see if we can get through this entire video. But I want to start here because this is a spot that you kept repeating this line, and I saw that you were getting emotional with it, right? And you kept saying, you can be smaller. You can be smaller. Have people told you that?
Yeah.
Said that to you?
Yeah. And on top of people saying it, me saying it to myself. But you hear it, whether it's people commenting on just telling you can do it, or you saying it to yourself, trying to accomplish your goal. A repetition is oftentimes the best way to learn things or to get them into your mind. So sometimes, kind of like an affirmation, if I did feel some type of way, or I was in the middle of like a health journey or just trying to psych myself out, it is something that I would repeat to myself. You can do it.
But why do you think that they tell you that?
I feel like it's several reasons, honestly. And now, do I feel like genuinely that people or family, I'll say family, I won't say people, family or close loved ones, or, someone who may know me, know my ambitions or my career goals.
Mhm.
Maybe that is something that they're like, well, if you do this, you'll be healthier, or we are worried about health, or you've done it before, you can do it again. Like I said, sometimes I don't think people mean harm, but
Mhm.
just because you don't mean to do harm doesn't mean things aren't harmful. So, and then in all honesty, if I'm being really transparent, I think oftentimes people can see that there may be a desire of mine
Mhm.
and they want to continuously say, like, you can do it if that is
Oh, it's
what you
from
want
an
to do.
encouragement perspective.
Yeah, sometimes. And then sometimes, people are dumb and they just feel the need to say things like that.
But have you had the experience where someone said to you out of spitefulness?
Oh, yeah,
How
absolutely.
often does it happen?
Mm, as an adult, when people like to be spiteful, I've learned in my adult life, people are never, what's the word that I'm looking for? Most people don't have the guts to be spiteful outright.
Oh
They
wow.
like to be very slick and sly when they say things, or, well, if people like to make recommendations
Mhm.
that I feel like that's the new spite now. I'm not going to say anything to you um, outright because I don't want you to think I'm being mean or a nasty person. So, you know how we like to recommend things, or,
Mhm.
if you do this, this will help you, or a lot of it comes from I can make a comment about something and then they
Mhm.
go, "Well, it's the easiest thing. If you do it this way, this will help you." And then also I work with children, and
Right. Oh
children
yeah.
have no
Yeah.
filter.
Don't filter. Right.
So every other day it's a little kid like, "Hey lady, you big." Like, but I like to retaliate with the little
Yeah.
kids. I'm not gonna lie. I
Oh,
always be
okay.
like, "Your daddy like it." To the little kids, I say that oftentimes, and they're like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "Go ahead, baby, it's okay."
Now,
But
now the ones who make the comment about you can be smaller,
mhm,
right? Even if they're whether or not they're doing it from an encouragement perspective or from a spiteful approach, right?
mhm.
What's their body like?
You know what? I'm so happy you asked that. Most people that comment and have an opinion
Uh-huh.
are still working on themselves. That's a
Oh,
universal thing.
okay. Okay.
You do run into people that have really nice physiques or whatever,
Mhm.
but everybody falls short somewhere.
Right,
I
right.
think in all honesty, people need to allow, if I wanted your help, I'll ask for your help. I think that it is safe when, like, if you feel like I'm in some sort of danger, if I'm really like throwing my life away,
Mhm,
my health is declining. You, you just see me getting worse and worse and worse, and
mhm,
you love me, and love really does correct you.
mhm.
I feel like we have to be open to that. We have to allow love to correct us. But just because you feel like I should fit into a certain box or some kind of societal standards, I don't want to hear that. Mind your business. Most of the time, and it's such an easy thing to comment on appearance, but I think it's such a cop out.
Mm,
Get to know me first. Ask
right,
me a question.
right.
What is my life like?
Mhm,
It's not only just from random people. I experience this when I go to the doctor's office. It's all automatic. The assumption, if I've come in for one thing, the assumption is often, well, we know where this stems from. You're obese. Or, ma'am, I have a family history of,
right.
can you,
Correct,
so
correct.
things like that. I think that it is one of those things, very cliche, but you judge a book by its cover,
Mhm, mhm.
So, I've learned to deal with it when people do suggest being smaller or they comment about being smaller. I can't say that every time my feelings are hurt. I'm not gonna lie. Most of the time, I'm like, shut up. And I have to go, because if you don't learn to be that way,
Mhm,
people will tear you down. They will
mhm.
grind you into nothing. So
Wow.
I've
We
adjusted.
we got a question here.
Okay.
Uh, it says, so wait, people just out of nowhere just suggest things to you about your weight. So is that? I guess they were asking. They just
Um, yeah, in all honesty, sometimes you do get people that comment out
so.
of nowhere.
Let me ask this question though:
Uh-huh.
who do you get that comment from the most, men or women?
Men. Men will comment the most.
Do
Um,
you feel that when they comment, it's from a genuine place, or not necessarily?
uh, I'm trying to choose my words wisely. Um, I think that when men, I don't know. I won't even sit here and act like I understand the mind of a man. I don't know. They could genuinely be asking questions. They could genuinely make a suggestion.
Mhm.
I have had men, like I think I mentioned it in the first interview, to say, you're beautiful, or I've had men to be honest and say, you're not my type physically. I have had men to respond differently um with things. So I won't even sit and pretend that I know where it
Mhm.
comes from. Do women comment? Women comment, but you know,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's a people thing.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I won't even make it gender specific. It's a people thing.
So someone had asked the question also,
Mhm.
do you really want to lose weight? And I'm gonna respond to this. Don't ask, to answer that question, because if they go back and watch part one,
Yeah.
they will see where you're at as far as your weight is
Yeah.
concerned.
Well, but I will say this though.
Okay.
Um, my weight loss journey now is strictly about health.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it,
I just
because
want to say that. Yeah.
that's what I want to ask you,
Yeah.
right? Because you mentioned health several times,
hmm
right? So where are you at as far as your health is concerned?
Well, I'm not unhealthy, but obviously, you're carrying more weight. That makes things a
Okay.
little harder.
Okay.
I'm also in my mid 30s. I'm 36. And I do not have children yet. So,
Mhm.
but you start to think about the things that you want to be around for.
Mhm.
And as an adult, you have to know that your body changes. So, where I could eat certain things and my body may break it down, it doesn't. And your bones
Mhm.
crack now and your
Mhm.
back hurts now and all of those things. So, I wasn't worried about cholesterol when I was younger and living
Mhm.
in New York and moving, but now you have to worry about those things.
Right.
So, and then with age comes wisdom. I have a history of health things in my
Mhm.
family.
Mhm.
So I do think that it's my responsibility, especially because I don't have children yet. Those generational things that we clock into certain things and we say, well, it didn't kill me when I was little.
Mhm.
Well, it's killing us now.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
um, those things, I think being smart about those things and being preventing those things. We
Mhm.
have the power to do those things, but it is different for me now. Before it was, I wanted to feel a certain way. I wanted to look a certain way. I wanted to be received a certain way. But now it's really about life and death, presenting the best version of myself. And also I'm asking God for a lot when it comes to my career, how
Mhm.
I move, what I want. And I had the pleasure for my birthday, I went to New York to see Alvin Ailey. And obviously, I don't look like an Alvin Ailey dancer, but I am trained in dance. Don't get it twisted. But I looked at them and I kid you not, I had a moment of knowing that what we're praying for, what we're asking for, I have to be prepared to do those things.
Mhm.
I have to prepare my body. I have to prepare my spirit. I have to prepare my mind. So it's not necessarily so I look good in front of a camera, but I don't want to be one of those famous artists that when I die. I don't want
Right.
to get to the point and then have a heart attack. So
Right.
it's health now for me.
Right. So do you suffer with high blood pressure or anything of that nature?
Yes, it runs in my family. And
Right.
it's literally this year. Um, I've had to deal with it. But
Mhm.
it's,
But you
small
on your
things.
game about it though. You're
Oh
not
yeah,
just
no, no, no,
ignoring
no.
your
No,
health
no, no, no,
and
no.
issues like that.
No.
Because
I'm not.
I think it was important, that something that you said that was very important, because there's no doubt I'm aware of it as well, that there is a history,
Yeah,
that runs in your family. and
yeah.
and when you really look at it, sad to say that your mother, your aunt,
My
they
dad, my sister, yeah. It does. It runs in the fammy. But it is something that we can take care of,
right,
you
right.
know,
You're
and
not
I
ignoring it.
not ignoring it. But you know what I think for a long time I did not want to dive into the things that have happened in my family or what runs in my family.
Mhm,
Because I just didn't want everything to be about weight, you know?
mhm.
It's like now I gotta pay attention to all this stuff because of this or whatever. I'm just really learning how to separate the two.
Okay,
Health and appearance. I'm
right.
learning how to
Yeah,
do
that's
better.
powerful.
Yeah.
So how often have you been made to try harder?
To lose weight
Yes.
all the time. I don't know. I can't
Do
beat
you do
off.
it to yourself?
Yeah, I do.
For
Um,
yourself or for people?
Now it's for me.
Okay, that's good.
Before it was not for me. Like I mentioned in the first interview, a lot of times you just didn't want to stand out, and if you did stand out for something, I didn't want it to be for being the biggest person in the room. So, I can't tell you how many times I've stopped and started and stopped and started and tried this or tried that. And sometimes those things fail. And I think that's why when comments come, are you trying? Are you doing anything to help yourself? Do you want to feel better? Our first lady preached about it today. Shout out to Lady Joy. You don't know my story. You don't know what I'm doing,
Right.
what I have to do mentally to prepare myself for what it feels like to fail and try again. I'm sure everybody has their own story, but most of the time when I'm trying harder or whatever and stopping and starting, yeah.
How often do you strive to avoid getting emotional about your situation?
It's no avoiding getting emotional. Not when you've been plus size your whole life. Like I said, for me, I'll speak for myself, because there's some super plus size women out there and nothing anybody says or does or any of their comments bother them. But I have literally been plus size my entire life. And it has literally been um I don't know how ironic, larger than life my entire life. Um I just kind of learned where to put it. Before, it was the star of the show, my weight. And it has always been the star of the show. And I am really learning to let the rest of me be seen. So
Wow.
that really involves emotion. You have to. It's like a freedom thing. And I've talked to my friends about it, what is it that you want to do, Deidre? Like, I just don't want this thing to hold me back. My twin brother used to say this to me all the time. What if God wants you to be that size? I was like, that doesn't make sense. We have the power to control it. He was like, but what if you're supposed to be that size and that woman for what he has for you? That type of woman for what he has for you.
He has a point.
I do. But I didn't want to listen to him. He's 6'2", 6'2", 180 pounds. I don't care what you're talking about, boy. You don't have to ask for a seatbelt extender on the airplane. Why am I listening to you? But, if I'm being honest, he's always been like that for me. Always.
My next question, it kind of alludes to that. It leads into that because you said, dear fat girl who is trying, I see you crying because I feel the same way you do.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what in that video, was that a third person moment? And was it a moment in which that you were engaging other plus size women such as yourself?
Yeah, plus size women or women in general. Dear Fat Girl is the title of the poem, but I think if we took the words Dear Fat Girl away, we could just talk about a woman. Dear woman, maybe I was very specific because that's my journey and that was my experience. But I just wanted to talk to plus size women to let them know you're seen. Oh, I see this question. Do you think if you lose weight, you will lose who you believe you really are? That is a great question.
But you kind of spoke to it last week now.
Yeah. No, I don't think I'll lose. And I want to answer you. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in. I don't think that I would lose who I think that I really am. I think I would really discover a lot more about myself. Last week, I do encourage you to watch the first part. I talked about that I have lost weight. I've lost like 125 pounds before. And I gained it back because I lost the weight physically and I didn't lose it mentally. But now I'm a different person mentally. So if I lost it, I think losing weight now would just give me a little more confidence, but not so much to walk into a room, just confidence about just the things that I deal with on a day. I feel a little more energy. I probably would sleep better, small things I wouldn't have to worry about that can be a challenge at my size sometimes.
You said the way you hide yourself inside yourself when you walk into a room, is that a moment of shame at times for you?
Yes. I'm generally a nervous person, like in all honesty. even though my career is in the arts and I have to interact with people every day, my dad actually put me into theater to break me out of my shell. And theater was a blessing because it gives you the opportunity to become somebody else. How can you judge me for a character that I developed, I put the work into? So I started to apply what I learned in theater in life. And if I'm very nervous about walking into a room, I, turn into this other person. And the girl that might be ashamed or may feel like everybody's staring at me because of my size, she disappears. And then this confident woman comes out of me. And then I get in the car and I'm like, whew, dizzy because you're holding your breath all night, So yes, sometimes I hide.
Let's talk about some of your accomplishments.
Okay.
Share them with us.
Ooh. Talk about my
because I think it's important.
Yeah.
Because now you was still a fat girl doing these accomplishments, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Share them with the audience.
So I have a background in theater. I moved to New York, and studied at the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. And then I went on to start my career in professional theater. And I have honestly been doing that professionally since 2008. I've done some national tours, the biggest being the Color Purple National Tour. I was Sophia on the national tour of the Color Purple. This is weird talking about accomplishments. Like, I don't know. But some traveling, background singing, writing.
But you've done it though.
I've done it.
But when people look at you,
yeah,
because they're so naive and ignorant, as you like.
Well, I didn't say that. People don't listen to my uncle. I did not call y'all naive and ignorant.
Okay, those are my words.
I said
okay, what did you say?
that people can be ignorant.
Can be. Okay.
Now, if you yourself are people tonight, I am sorry that you are ignorant. But no, just playing. I do. You know what? I'm happy you said that. One thing that always surprises people, that I am trained in like dance when I went to school, jazz, tap, ballet. I know I got the student loans to prove it. But when you tell people that, or you make certain suggestions, people kind of look at you like, what do you know? I'm like, a lot,
Right,
but that goes back to people judging your abilities by your appearance and stuff like that.
Every time I get ready to my next question, you it's like you over here looking at my questions, huh? Because my question was, do you believe? Let's see.
Oh,
got to come in. The crazy part is that a lot of the feelings you have, most women have. Size is just one area.
And you want to know something? I firmly, wholeheartedly believe that. Like I said, it's easy for me to talk about being a plus size woman because that is my experience. But I think that I think people deal with that. We deal with walking into rooms wanting to feel good, wanting to be accepted, whether it is your weight, whether it is the clothes that you have on your back, whatever it is, you deal with that. And I think that it is a very scary thing. Because that's what the world teaches us.
Right.
If you don't look a certain way, if I don't look like an Instagram model, if you're a man and you don't have a six pack, if you're not making a certain amount of money, we really devalue each other when we have so much to give. And it becomes, people talk about being a toxic person or toxic environments. It's the relationships. And you have to be, I'm learning so much. I'm really an open book when it comes to my friends. A lot of times, sometimes I think I tell too much, but then you really find out like you're dealing with what I'm dealing with. So if we both can get together and say, well, Deidre, if you're worried about your weight, I want you to know that you're beautiful. And if you're going to change, do it for yourself. And I can look at you and say, well, if you're worried about whatever, you can do it, and we can band together. That way we know when you do have those people that come around that want to judge you because you don't look a certain way, or you know what? I had to tell myself, like, you ain't gonna never look like no Instagram model. You're never, that's not who I am. And if that's the part, if that's what I have to look like to be accepted, then I don't want to be accepted. by those people. I want somebody that can accept all of me. I want those people in my life that you can see the beauty in what's natural, what God gave me. Because then we allow people to be who they truly are. Like, I
Right.
really believe that people ruin people.
Mm.
A lot of times you present your authentic self to the world, just like social media. You know what I'm saying? You present
Mhm.
your authentic self to the world, and then you read the comments. Oh my God, look at her. That's ugly. That's this, that's that. And this is a person that said to themselves, you know what? I feel brave today. I want to put myself out there. And here come all of these trolls. Who are you
Mhm.
to tell me that who I've authentically presented to you is not enough?
And it's not like their life all together either.
Their life is never together. And it's usually, I hate to use the word, but it's true. It's usually the ugliest people. Ugly inside, ugly outside. I
Mhm.
think that we have to be okay with standing up. I work with children, and one of my number one rules, I don't accept bullying at all. You can say the smallest thing. I will kick you out of my room. Do you know what you can do? Words, one word, you can literally change the trajectory of somebody's life, their
That's right.
thought
That's
process.
right.
They can be the bravest person in the world, and you can say one thing that tears them down. You want to be responsible for that?
Mhm.
I think that we have to be more caring, more kind. And I want to say, like, even though a lot of people feel like when, especially being plus size, when you post things like that, it's for attention. You want attention, you want pity. No, this is how I feel. I don't want your attention. I don't want your pity. I want you to be responsible as a human being for what comes out of your mouth, for what you put into the world, for your energies. If I'm not your cup of tea, drink something else. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying?
Mm.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. All right. So, do you believe that men and women judge you based on your weight before they get to know you intellectually?
Yeah. Well, like, that's a common thing with people anyway, but
Okay.
I do feel like that. I think people feel like they know your lifestyle when they see you in the big body. You got to be the type of person that's home eating cookies and candy. I feel like people visualize the clumps when you're plus size, like you just home with hot sausages and gravy on your plate, and you're just eating. You don't move. You don't do anything. Your whole life revolves around food, which is totally. I think people make an assumption, and they make an assumption about your abilities oftentimes. And I can say this even with the guys that said, you're beautiful, but you're not my cup of tea
Uh-huh.
physically. And they all come back and be like, but you're so mentally, everything else is mentally and financially, and you know how to cook, and you can hold a conversation just physically. And you just got to be the type of girl to be like, I mean, you the idiot. You tapped out before we started the fight. You tapped out. So, you know, but I mean, it's unfortunate, but people do.
You stated you work hard to lose the weight that bothers everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Does it anger you that people think that you had a choice? And yeah, does it?
Oh, like with losing weight.
Yes.
So for that line,
I think we kind of talked on that.
well,
Is it
it
how
goes
much?
along the.
How much? I apologize for
No, go
cutting you
ahead.
off, but how much is how much? How much of it? How much of it do you think is hereditary?
The weight.
Yes.
Well, now I wouldn't say the weight. Well, I would say genetically, everyone in my family, for the most part, my father's side, very tall, and we are larger. Um, and my mom's side, we are a little thicker as well. Everybody's body's a little different. I just think that it does come from, some of it is genetics, but some of it is just how you live your life. I think that we don't like to talk about it, but uh, you know, we eat a certain way as African Americans. We just do. We do certain things. We're comfortable with certain things. Every holiday, somebody gonna grill. We gonna get on the grill. We gonna cook. We gonna do certain things, and we are learning
Mhm.
better things now. But it just is what it is. I mean, I don't know if I want to say it's all hereditary, because obviously, if I lost 125 pounds, I it's proven that I can
You can't,
change
right,
myself physically.
right,
But I didn't get shorter. And I won't say that I was a stick figure. I wasn't.
right,
I lost 125 pounds and I still had a stomach. It
correct,
didn't matter.
right,
So,
right.
I think that it does. It makes a difference.
You said that you work hard for your healing. What are some of your methods of healing?
Well, right now at this stage, let's start with the Almighty prayer. I talk to God when I have a free moment to clear my mind, to give me clarity. Um, I would be nothing, and I could not do it without Him. I have introduced therapy into my life, very much so. I surround myself with people with positive energy. And the newest thing in my life is I have learning to be alone. I
Mm,
think a lot of times it is very easy to feel like we are okay because we are feeding off the energy of the people around us. And then when you are alone, those thoughts consume you, fears consume you, doubt consumes you, the things that you cannot control, you don't know, they consume you. And if you don't learn how to be alone and what to do in the moments when you are alone, like for me, growing up, being bullied or whatever, and you develop unhealthy relationships or you develop unhealthy things.
mhm.
Maybe it is overeating, maybe you're addicted to something else, whatever you are using to cope. So I have been changing my coping mechanisms into a lot of quiet time, reading, talking to God more than anything, stopping myself. I mean, before the interview, you walked into your living room, my eyes were closed, and I was praying and I was reading. I was in the book of Nehemiah.
Mm.
But yeah, those are the things that I have to do now.
What role does confidence play in being labeled a fat girl?
Uh, so I kind of feel like it's one of those things that, how you hear people say it ain't for everybody. I don't think a lot of people would be able to
Wow.
carry the weight, literally and mentally. In all honesty, if you've your whole life had a really great physique and then you get older and that body changes, it does something to you. Um, but the world can be very cruel. So I do think that God did equip me in a certain way to go through and get through things. And He actually really put people in my life, like my program in high school, my theater program. I had a teacher, her name was Miss Seward, and I walked into the room and she was like, "Stop walking in here like a fat girl. You're walking like a truck driver." And I was like, "Oh my God, I hate this classroom." And when she got me by myself, she said, "I wanted to tell you something. I wasn't trying to embarrass you, but if you're going to be the biggest one in the room, you better be the baddest one in the room." She put a book on my head. She taught me how to walk upright, pick my feet up, be light on my feet. When I was on stage, anything that the smaller girls did, I had to do. If the smaller girls had to do a split, I had to split. It's cartwheels in this, Deidre. I'm not doing no cartwheel. You're doing a cartwheel. And that's who I was in high school. Everything anybody else did, she did not allow me to tell myself I couldn't do it. And she said, you have to have the confidence. Even if you don't feel like that when you walk into a room, you better make everybody think that's who you are. And I'm serious.
Wow, that's powerful.
That's how I started to build my confidence. She really helped me. She really did. And
Wow.
at first I thought she was, one of the others that wanted to. I'm like, why is this lady so mean? But she saw something in me. And she was like, and she really taught me how much I hold myself back. You start to
Right.
believe what people are telling you
Right.
about you. Isn't
Right.
that crazy? You letting somebody else
If you
tell you who
if
you are.
if you do, because again, they judge you based on what they see from the outward
Yeah.
perspective, and they really don't understand nor know, nor have they walked in your shoes,
Yeah.
and know why you have had to navigate
Yeah.
around certain experiences in life.
Yeah.
So let's get to the end of your TikTok video.
Okay.
You said that you said don't be afraid to take up space. You also said that it's important to know within and without that you're beautiful?
Mm-hmm. So as far as taking up space, I mentioned briefly, I've had experiences, sitting on the airplane. I apologize a lot for being present. Um, whew, I allowed myself to convince myself that I was an inconvenience because I'm plus size. So if I get on the airplane and that seatbelt doesn't fit me, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. I have to ask for a seatbelt extender. Or I should be able to go, excuse me, can I have a seatbelt extender? Because I paid the same amount of money that the other person did. Or I've had experiences in theaters, like I said, I went to New York for my birthday and I sat next to these women. And because I, plus size, I was sitting, my arm was over, and I could hear the woman tell the usher they didn't want to sit by me because I was too close to them. And I felt it. I was very sad. I was like, man, this happens to me all the time. But God will remind you, woo, He will remind you who you are. And I sat there, those women moved, and the tears were welling up in my eyes. And the usher came and got me because my friend was the star of the show. Came and got me. He said, are you Miss Shiverton? I said, yeah. He said, come here, please. You can sit anywhere you want in this theater. Pick a seat. And the people were watching. I said, I just want to put me in the back. I want to be comfortable. He said, no. They told us to sit you where they sit the stars when the stars come to see the show. So I sat in the rows where they sit the famous people and stuff. And they were bringing me stuff. And the ladies behind me said, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, yeah, that's how that's supposed to go.
Wow.
I'm not supposed to apologize to anybody. They didn't have to apologize to me. People don't have to apologize to me for what they look like and who they are. I don't owe you an explanation for the size of my body. I don't owe you an explanation for why I need a seatbelt. That's your job. Yeah. So I've decided this year to stop apologizing for being present,
Wow.
taking up space. And I have to because, those things fester and then you don't accomplish what God has for you to accomplish. So I made that decision not to apologize for taking up space. And what was the other line you said?
I said that you have to know that you're beautiful in and out.
Yeah, I just think if I don't tell myself, who will? Like I said, I was in 2 very long relationships and they were loving and complimentary and all of those things. And then when you break up with somebody or when you all alone, do you stop believing those things, or you got to have the ability to tell yourself that too? So sometimes I test myself when I go look in the mirror and I say, hey, you pretty little girl, little black girl, like my mama used to say. So I'm just learning to, do for me the things that I want. That's what it is.
Let me get to the end. You said this. Then I want to talk about your father.
Okay.
You said, go put on some tights.
Let me tell you something. Now, I'm not going to lie. We got to learn how to wear the tights, lady. They are the control ones. We got to learn how to wear them. But that goes along the lines of apologizing. Like, I don't know, the way when I wear tights, I'm very cautious about covering, behind me and things like that. That's just how I was raised.
Right.
But people kind of feel like they got dibs on certain things. I won't say that I feel like everybody should put everything on, but I'm a firm believer that's not your business. If I woke up today and said I wanted to squeeze my thighs in some tights, that don't have nothing to do with you. So
on your when I was looking at your Facebook page, right?
mm-hmm.
I did see a picture there that you had on a bathing suit.
I did. I just posted. First of all, my friends boosted. Choose your friends wisely. My friends. Are you going to find that bathing suit picture? I was here now. Go find it. Go find it. I was cute. Go find it. Y'all be patient. He about to show y'all a little chocolate. Lord, I just want. If my pastor's watching, I'm sorry. I don't even know where that picture is. I just posted it, but you want to know? I've had that bathing suit for like 3 years,
Okay. Okay.
and I would not put that bathing suit on. I was
Okay.
so afraid. And my beautiful friends were like, a lot of them are on here. They'll let you know. I sent that picture. I sent it to my brother.
Right.
I was like, is this inappropriate? Do I look nasty? Oh my
Well, at least
gosh.
you're concerned about it.
I was, because number one, I definitely know who I am. I know that
Right.
people know who I am. I
Right.
know what I do for a living. I'm very active in my church, so I don't go crazy now.
Right.
Confidence don't mean crazy. You still have to
Wow.
present
Speak
yourself
it.
in a certain
Speak
way.
it. Speak it.
So when I posted it, I was like, is this tasteful? And my twin was like, it's tasteful. You
Uh-huh.
look nice. It's okay. And
Right.
and my friends were like, post it. And I was like, ugh. I want you to find it now. It might be it's in the post somewhere. Like something no, you might have to go into like photos or something. Post. And I just posted that not too long ago. But yeah, when I put it, you would be surprised.
Let's
I was
see.
so nervous.
But while he's looking that up,
Mm-hmm.
you said that because I had the same question.
Mm-hmm.
You said you posted your Dear Fat Girl TikTok video, and your dad had something to say about it. Your father,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm like, man, I wonder what her dad said.
My
So talk to us about your relationship with your father and your weight.
there it is. While we talk about my weight. So my father is a very supportive, encouraging man.
Produce if you can. Find a picture of her father before you post the one with the bikini with the bathing suit on.
He's further up in that video, but my father is very supportive, but this did something to him. He went into dad mode and he called me. He was like, Deidre, why did you post that? Yeah, there's my daddy. And I said,
Yeah, put that picture up for us, please.
I said, Daddy, you didn't like it? And he said, I always like what you write, but the words you said, the way you said you felt, why did you do that? I said, that is true. And he immediately was like, who's talking to you like that? Who says those things to you?
Oh, wow.
But I think he kind of got a little quiet because my dad, like I said, my father is a very, very brave man. And I don't think that he would mind me sharing this. My dad has dealt with heart disease. He's dealt with the high blood pressure. And right now, thank the Lord for keeping him. My dad is fighting cancer right now as we speak.
Oh,
So
wow.
when I talk about health and really looking out for my health and changing my body, a lot of it is coming from watching how he's changed his life. So when I lost 120 something pounds, it inspired him, and he lost like 180 pounds. And we both were fluctuating. And then the cancer, he had throat cancer first. God healed him from that. And then now this cancer is inoperable and he is fighting for his life. But I've watched him change certain things, and that's been his narrative to me. So when I was in the video and I had to explain to him, I was inspired by a book I was reading, and he was like, do you think he's always concerned about, I knew it was the backlash. Like, kind of, do you think that's a okay thing for you to say? Like, is it a smart thing for you to do? I said, I'm okay, Dad. I'm prepared with what comes with it. And I think as a father, he's been concerned about men being genuine. Are they going to take advantage of me? Where is my self-esteem? So I think that was his reaction to it. But in all honesty, which I find very interesting, I have never seen my dad so concerned with my health and stuff. When I lost the weight, he was so proud. Um, and he thought I was beautiful either way. Then when I gained it back, I think he was concerned because he just didn't know what happened. was it self-esteem? Are you sick? Whatever the case may be. And now when I speak to him about what I want to do to be healthy, I want to do this, I want to do that, he just encourages me, whatever he can do, whatever I've researched, whatever I feel like I can do. But his biggest concern is not my appearance, it's that I feel comfortable enough to return to the stage. That is what he wants. He wants me to be the best version of myself so that I can get back on stage full time like I want to. So I don't know. It matters to me though. I have had to have a conversation because, like I said, sometimes family feels like they're really helping. So my dad used to do this thing. If we would go to dinner, he would be like, "Think you should drink that soda? You sure you want to eat that?" And one time I had to say, "Pause. No disrespect. You're not small. I know, but I'm trying to make sure." Number two, the way that you think you're helping me, you're not. It makes me nervous to eat around you. So support for me, and I think that it is important. People like to support us, but it is okay to tell people the type of support because every all support it's support has to be tailored. I feel like I could be wrong. When I was growing up, you were stern. When you wanted a song to go a certain way, when you wanted notes to be sang a certain way, you were stern. That was something that my mom and my aunts they could take. If it was me when I was little, I'd have been like, "You can keep these songs. You're not gonna keep screaming at me, sir." But I had to explain to him, and I wasn't disrespectful. I had to say, "I thank you for your support and your concern. I thank you for being honest with me, that you're concerned about my health and you want me to be the best version of myself. However, that does not give you a license to micromanage me. I know what I'm doing. Now, if I was sitting up here eating cookies, cakes, candies all the time, and I wasn't moving and I wasn't active, I wasn't doing anything, then I could be receptive to these things. But because you see me have a soda at dinner, that does not mean I'm just trailing down the road to diabetes. That means tonight I decided to have a soda. And we had to talk about it. We had to have an honest dialogue, and we still do now. And I think it kind of changed what we do because it opened the floor for us to go, "So what do you do? What are you doing different? What has helped you?" Or it opened the floor for him to be able to talk to me. "How do you feel? How is your journey going? What do you need?" Because sometimes we want to support people and that's not what they want. I don't want your support,
Right. Right.
and people think that that's a bad thing, but it's not. Maybe I don't want your support.
Wow.
Maybe I don't want you, you can do it. You can be such a testimony for everybody else. I don't want to be a testimony. I want to live my life. Sometimes you don't. You don't feel like that. But
Right.
people feel inclined to, you know, I'm going to help you every way I can. Or do what you've been doing. If I need you, I'll ask. But, for the most part, he's it's better now.
So he went into dad mode.
Yeah.
So see, he was really doing it from a place of protecting you, from a place of protection, basically.
Yeah. Also, my dad is very much anti-internet. Most of the time, he understands the value in it, but he is very, conscious about what we put out there is
Right.
always out there.
Right.
So to explain to him like that, this won't hurt me. It won't hurt me in my career. I didn't say anything that was inappropriate. It wasn't targeted at any audience. It's just something for me. It's something that I wrote. It's how I feel. He was very surprised by some of the stuff in there, like who's saying these things, like I, mentioned. And I had to tell him, I hear this stuff all the time. I think as a father, though, a lot of that was surprising because little girls will come to you and tell you if a man breaks our heart. Some of the story will come to you and tell you when we have a bad day, some of the story, but to sit when we're older and actually explain to you that I was bullied and these girls did this to me and these are the words that I heard and men have treated me like this and I've dropped my standards to this as a father, when in your mind as a father you've protected me my
Right.
entire life, to know that there's a piece that you were unable to protect me from. I think that was something he had to adjust to.
I want to say this, that I think that, let me just speak for myself.
Mhm.
If we had our choice of what we want out of life, of what, even when we reflect back in the past, if we had our choice, a lot of things that we went through or experienced or whatever, we would not make those choices.
I agree.
However, because of life, decisions that we do make, some things that we have no control over,
Yeah,
no matter what.
that's true.
But yet God give us the grace to live through them. So I say this, I'm going to take just a few moments to say this to you from a place of encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought in my life that I would have been married as multiple times as I have.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, though, when I look at it and I reflect back, if I had not went through what I went through,
Mm-hmm.
I would not be doing
Yeah.
what I'm doing right now. And that is to speak life into other husbands, other men,
I agree.
to be advocates for marriages that, hey, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, 1, 2, 3. If you got this issue, hey, my recommendation is this here. And you're going to have those experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, at one time, I used to be frustrated with myself and angry because I'm like, man, why couldn't I have had a long marriage
Mm-hmm.
relationship with one woman?
Yeah.
When actuality, that is not what happened.
Yeah.
But yet God brought me full circle to be able to start over again, if I could say this. But at this point in my life, I'm not ashamed of what I've been through.
Yeah.
I don't regret it at all.
Yeah.
Because that added more to who I am and gave me, it's not what I heard, what I read,
Yeah.
what I think.
It's what you went through.
It's what I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's what I went through. It's what I had to learn myself as a man in order to be able to overcome
Yeah.
my past,
Yeah.
if I
I
can
agree.
say that there,
Yeah.
So I think that I'm gonna have to agree with your brother. Because what I'm looking at right here and what I'm hearing is nothing but confidence. And God will put us in certain places where that we can be a voice, can be an advocate, can be encouragement to others who may be going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And they pulling their hair out and they just bogging themselves down with emotions, not knowing or having an answer. But here it is, you walk in this thing, you'll walk through it.
Yeah.
And I think that you have a testimony.
I feel so. I feel like it too. Well, I have a question for you, if I can ask.
Yeah, sure.
So, you said that you learned a lot from my poem. And as a father, as a man, as a brother, or whatever, what would you say to a young plus size woman, young or old, that even though you're sitting here encouraging me, a lot of things for little girls, we look at what our fathers do. And if as a young woman, even though my brothers encourage me, uncles, whoever encouraged me, if I have never seen a woman that looks like me in your love life, what would you say? Would you tell her, would you explain to a young woman, well, that's just because I have a preference? Or how do you explain those things? Because I think a lot of times, and I hope I'm not overstepping, a lot of times women, we are very, especially when it comes to daddy. Daddy can call you beautiful all day. Brothers can call me beautiful all day.
See where you're coming
I've never, now I done seen my brothers with some thick girls now.
Right.
But I've never seen them with a plus size woman. And I've asked my brother, tell me why. Is it something wrong with me? My body? Is it a preference? What do you feel? So what would you tell a young woman or women that's watching? Even though you're comfortable enough as a man, what would you tell them? Why you never?
Why I never what?
Well, I mean, why, like if that was the case.
Okay, well, my first girlfriend was a plus size woman.
Okay.
She was a plus size woman. Now, I would say this, that I've married and dated. Let me see how I want to go with this. my I gotta be careful.
Mhm.
So to answer your question is this. I think that men, what I would tell most men, yeah, don't get caught up in the norm
Uh-huh.
or what you think is what the narrative is as far as what society is telling you. Hey, woman got to look like this in order to be exactly the woman that you need,
Mhm.
right? One of the things that I learned that, especially being a man, especially being a married man, though I may have married my wife at one side, she didn't always stay that way.
Yeah.
You know, my wife, like my wife now, hey, she's struggling. She's having issues with her weight. But I tell her, I said, babe, hey, you're good as long as you're staying healthy. Do what you need to do to be healthy. That's it.
Mhm.
I'm not wishing this or wishing that. Hey, as long as she's taking care of herself, just like what I hear you say,
Mhm.
I'm good. Because the thing of it is that what I see in my wife is that, man, she satisfies me, every part of me, as far as, she takes care of our home, she's loving mother, a responsible woman, all the things that a man would want in a woman.
Mhm.
That's it for me. That's it for me. So I'm not looking for anyone else. And I think that we get caught in the trap. We feel that a woman got to have this certain look in
Mhm.
order to be that woman, that trophy piece on her
Yeah.
arms. And I think that's where we go wrong at, man.
Yeah.
I think you need to get out of that. So
Yeah.
again,
Do they get out of wanting a trophy, or do they just need to accept that trophies come in different sizes?
they need to accept that.
That's what I want.
They
That's what I
they need to accept. Listen,
yeah.
okay, so yes, so you would have to. I can't speak for all men, but let me
Mhm.
just talk for myself. And some men who are listening and watching right now may disagree, right?
Mhm.
Nevertheless, though, man, I had it when it's perfect. I
Mhm.
had it when it was perfect, but it wasn't the right fit for me.
You mean when they looked a certain way
They looked a
physically?
certain way physically,
Yeah. Okay.
but it still didn't work out.
Mhm.
So what I've learned, no, thank you, Lord. I learned what to really put value
Mhm.
in the woman, her mind, her intellect.
Mhm.
Is she responsible? You know?
Yeah. I
Um,
I think that's what's important to teach. If there are young girls watching, or if women here, show this to another woman or another man. If I never get to do this again, I just want people to understand that's the point of it. Know where to put the value.
yeah,
Although my father, I've never seen him with a plus size woman. My mom was a bigger woman. She was gorgeous. Um, I just think that my father taught me, just because you don't see me with something doesn't mean that it's not valuable. Even though we don't see it, it's not a common thing. It's not what media wants you to see, whether that means you're shorter, you're smaller, you're dark, you're light, whatever it is, it does not mean that it's not valuable. When we want diamonds, people have to
they
dig
have to dig.
for
Right,
diamonds.
right,
You
right.
know what I'm saying? So I just want, yeah.
Again, my last word to you: just be yourself, man. Don't be afraid to be you. I would say that to every woman I
Yeah.
tell. Don't be afraid to be who you are.
Yeah.
Everybody, again, like I told you in our last interview, I worked with a coworker. He tell you, look, man, I don't want no skinny woman.
Yeah.
I don't want no skinny bone. I want a woman with some meat on it.
Mhm.
So and believe me now, most men they may not admit it.
Mhm.
They may not admit it, but they like big women too now.
Yeah.
All right. Now I don't care what they say, because you know what? Let me tell you something. Hold on. How is that possible? Because I was looking at statistically, right?
Mhm.
67% of US women are considered plus size.
Mhm.
67%, right? So now what men are with you?
Well, that's because if you
Huh?
wear over a certain
Yeah,
size,
I understand
all
that.
of the
Yeah, but it's still plus size though,
yeah,
right?
they are considered a plus
It's
size.
still plus size
Yeah.
though, right? So what is perfect to me or all right with me may not be the same with another man. But then guess again, Just because the gift package look good on the outside,
Yeah.
you still might end up getting a box full of nothing rotten apples.
Yeah.
So again,
Absolutely.
we're talking about the intellectual of the woman.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, how's she carrying herself?
Yeah.
All right, even if she's plus size, how's she dressing?
Yeah.
Is she dressing accordingly, or she all letting it all hang out? Just
Yeah.
like what I've heard you say.
Yeah.
Your mother have taught you
Mm-hmm.
how to carry yourself, even as being a plus size woman, even when you was a little girl.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think if anything, I would tell any man, look, man, bro, and my mind just flashed back to something that Miles Monroe said. Hey, if you want her, to be a certain size, then you need to invest in her.
Yeah.
But don't criticize her. Don't put her down because of it.
Yeah.
Just love on her regardless.
Yeah. And I can't,
and love her through it.
I can say that in my relationships, I don't want to give them too much credit because it's over. But I will say that in my relationships, my experiences with both of those gentlemen, it was just very much like, they thought I was beautiful, and that's what it was. Whatever I wanted to do, if I woke up and was like, I want to lose weight, they were like, okay, what we're doing.
Right.
What are we doing?
Right.
And if they did have any kind of, feelings, because I will say that I am sensitive, but if they did have other feelings, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear it a lot. Most of the time, I got a lot of like, you think men not looking at you. You think men don't care, but I know different.
They lie to themselves.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. Some men just have a preference, smaller or whatever.
And it's okay.
But I just want people to know, just because you have a preference, because you prefer something, it doesn't mean the other thing is, you got to tear it down. You got to have a comment. Just go get what you want.
Because this is PG, I'm going to keep it nice and clean. But look, my wife is all the woman I need. I'm going to leave it like that.
Yeah.
Ain't that right, boo?
She's online. Hello.
Right? I'm sure. Hey,
Hello.
she's all the woman I need.
Look at all these comments. I love y'all too. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you all. Definitely.
Look,
looking for a trophy wife.
For eye candy. That's a trap. Very deceptive.
That's it. That's it. How come you don't think that? I think it's wrong for a man to really think that a woman cannot be the woman that he needs just because she doesn't look a certain way.
Yeah, I think women get catfish too. You're looking at a brother, you talking about you want to 6 this, he make money, he drive this, and that brother can't read a sentence out loud. Like, what, sir? Did you graduate? What? All that money you didn't buy hooked on phonics? Like, I don't know, but you really learn that. You learn that older, and I think that's maturity, age, and the number one thing for me. You gotta have God in your life. That's a fence thing for me,
Definitely.
But,
hey, we gotta get out of here. We gotta wrap this up. But thank you so much. I think I saw another comment there from Carvel.
What?
Open that one up, Carvel. Let me see what she said there. Yeah, this whole thing just lets me see how cruel we are as people. Thank you for sharing all of this. This type of transparency is needed. But it's hard for people to change their opinions because they want to fit in so badly.
Yeah.
This was a great conversation. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. You know what? I honestly agree. It is very hard. But platforms like this, interviews, really diving into things, and people like you who can comment and be open and honest, that allows us to change the narrative, to use our platform for good or whatever. So
absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I was thinking about what you were saying about women being catfish. And, when we got together, I tell you, I had nothing really.
Really?
I had nothing. But she loved me for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved her for her. But yet still, though, 18 years later.
Yeah.
It's still good.
Sometimes you can look at it and be like, we could build this thing.
Absolutely.
You get tricked, though.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you date potential and end up poor. Don't date potential and end up poor, baby. The struggle is real. Okay? It can be, but those are things you learn. It's important.
Yeah. Hey, we gonna thank you so much.
You are welcome.
I tell you, you know what though? I'm gonna encourage you. Ed kind of talked about. I think you need to do your own
Start a
podcast.
podcast. Yeah, you telling me to
Yeah.
start a podcast?
Yeah.
You know, my other friend Asher's on here, my Kim, everybody keep telling me. So, all right, guys, let's do it. We're gonna look into it. My uncle Lionel said he's gonna help me. Y'all hold him
course.
to it.
Of course.
He
No,
said
I'm
he's
on
gonna
myself
help
to it.
me start a podcast. So let's get it done.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do this.
Oh, look at my friends. I love you guys. I love y'all
Anyone
too.
particularly you want to acknowledge?
Everybody. If I call one, you're not about to get me cased up, Uncle Lionel.
Okay.
Every friend on here, church friends. Look, my best friends are on here. Renee, Kim, Chrissy. It's a lot of people on here. My
Yeah.
church family.
Yeah.
I love y'all.
Hey, put up that last one there, Miss Baker. Let's see.
Right here.
Yeah. Let's see. I pray that you will look and feel and perform according to God's desire for you. Hey, listen, she's an exceptional singer as well, man. Oh my God. Very gifted woman. Very
Thank
gifted
you.
woman. Yeah. Hey, listen, we love you all. Thank you all so much. I want to give a shout out to all of you all who
All
have
of you.
definitely tuned in
Auntie
tonight.
Pam. Oh, sorry. Keep
Yeah.
going.
And hey, look, this was an exciting.
What?
It's an exciting. We celebrate.
You know, you inspiring people. Somebody else called me for an interview. I said, okay.
All right. We gotta talk about it then. We gotta talk about it.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you, listen, I'm even open. What if you want to do it, you can use my platform right here. Get started.
You know, let's
Hey,
have a little conversation.
yeah, hey,
I like to do a little razzle dazzle. Y'all should see this setup. It's like a 360 camera thing.
Oh man, hey, thank you. Yeah, we put a lot of time and money in it, you know, but it's because we want the best for our audience. You know, but there's more work to do, but grateful to God for it. Again, Miss Deidre,
You're very welcome.
Miss Niece, thank you so much.
You're very
Thank you so much. Hey, again, thank you again to the audience and all of you who spent this evening with us. We got to get out of here. We were way over time. But we hope that you've gotten something out of this interview tonight. And we'll see you next week. All right. We got another interview for you coming in studio, that is. All right. Much love to you. See you next week. God bless you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment. All right. Y'all been commenting, definitely. But I need you to like and I definitely need you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great night.